Nice to see you. Wow, wonderful. Hondo is full now. Looking around, your friend everywhere. How wonderful it is. Thank you for coming back to the Hondo. Wonderful. Okay, today I'm very excited. The title is Sangha Connection for Dharma. Sangha Connection for the Dharma. This is a part of the Sangha Connection. I'm thinking to introduce a lot of people to connect you and introduce the Buddha Dharma. Today, I'd like to introduce our new minister's assistant. You may know them, but Anne, Janet, and Teresa. Okay? And we already have a lot of minister's assistants, but particularly we have a new minister's assistant. They have been with us almost 2 years, and they are tremendous help. For example, today, look at this. I'm alone in a Honda and Naijin today. So I need a minister's assistant help to run the Sunday service, meditation, adult discussion, everything. They always help us and OCBC. I'm really grateful. I want to thank you to all of them. So they are tremendous help. For example, this morning, Matthew officiated that meditation service this morning. Thank you, Matthew. And then also, minister's assistant also assist a Sunday service, set up the incense burner, everything. And then they do a meditation, Zoom meditation, Wednesday night, and then write a Korean article and a website blog that's about many, many things they're doing. So join us and join me to welcoming Anne and Janet and Teresa. Each of them will give you about 5 minutes talk and explain their unique experience to have come this far and living a wonderful joy of Dharma. Okay, first of all, please come. Anne, okay, please welcome her.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'd like to say hello to my daughter and son in the high school class. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Anne Nakahira. My husband is Ron, and a lot of times you'll see him in the AV room helping with Sunday service. As you know, I have 2 teenagers, Catherine, who's 17, and Travis, who's 15. My children have taken full advantage of all the programs available at OCBC, Dharma School, Junior YBA, Taiko, Japanese School, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, basketball. Did I miss anything? They are the perfect spokespersons for our organization fair today. I'm currently on the temple board, and I'm so grateful that OCBC Sangha has welcomed and embraced me and my family. I was born a Buddhist. My father, Ben Jinkawa, was very active at the Nishi Honganji Temple in Los Angeles. He was a Dharma school teacher and was a Boy Scout Sangha class instructor. He had various other roles throughout his time there, but I would say he was an unofficial minister's assistant himself. Rinpa Masuoka at the time would send him to the Nishi branch temples like Hollywood and San Fernando Valley to run their Sunday services when there are no other reverends available. My parents just brought me along to all their activities at Nishi. Nishi was my second home growing up, just like OCBC is their second home for my kids. The current temple was built the year I was born. I participated in their dedication service and Ochigo parades as their temple grew, such as when they installed the large Shinran Shonin statue and when they built their Kaikon, which is their gym. I played basketball for the Wanjets, and I was in Junior YBA, and I was also Southern District Junior YBA president. So growing up in Monterey Park and being involved with the Japanese American community, I would say that I had a typical Japanese American sansei upbringing. I can speak Japanese because my mom, who's from Japan, forced me to speak Japanese to her when I was growing up. I'm now grateful that she made me do that. I passively learned about Buddhism as I went to church every Sunday. I've never counted, but I must have done oshoko, or incense offering, hundreds of times. Just like the incense smoke passively wafting over my head as I bowed to do gassho, this is how I learned about Buddhism. But because I went to church all the time growing up, that incense has permeated my body and is a permanent part of my bones and my kokoro, which is my heart and soul. I'm grateful now to be able to learn about Buddhism actively through the Minister's Assistant Program. I'm hoping to get a deeper understanding of Buddhism, and I look forward to sharing with you all what I learned. Thank you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you, Anne. Very good. So second, Janet. Welcome, Janet.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Janet Arima, and a lot of times I tell people I'm Leah Chase's mom. I don't know if you all know my daughter, but just a little bit about my background. I'm a Sansei, a third-generation Japanese American with strong Jodo Shinshu family ties through my Issei grandparents who farmed in the Pacific Northwest. So I'm actually a product of the Pacific Northwest, but I was not a practicing Buddhist. I was not raised as a practicing Buddhist. I grew up in a small logging town, 60 miles from the closest Buddhist temple. But as I've mentioned earlier, my path to Buddhism is a little unorthodox. I thought I was just being a mom. So many of you have brought your kids to Sunday school from a young age, and it was my daughter who brought me to church. Some of you know this story, but my daughter, as a sophomore in high school, informed me that she wanted to join a Buddhist church. I think she was looking for a spiritual connection or searching for her identity as a teen. I think she was looking for a spiritual connection that I was very happy to hear about. I was very surprised, but I was very supportive. And of course I knew that OCBC would be the church that we would join. We had an agreement that she was going to attend every week, period, and I would attend with her. This was a commitment, and she wasn't going to dabble in this. This is tough for a sophomore in high school with all the activities. I sat 3 rows from the back center every week, and I attended adult discussion while she attended Dharma school and YBA events. Honestly, I think I may have secretly looked forward to coming. The chanting and the incense brought a flood of memories back to me of visiting my grandmother's church. Well, what a surprise to find out that this was no longer my grandmother's Buddhist church. Of course, the teachings and the rituals haven't changed over the years, but the Sangha makeup has changed with time. The Japanese-speaking Isseis may have sadly left us, but the ethnic diversity and the majority of English-speaking Sangha members and ministers have made the Dharma so much more accessible, and I'm totally English-speaking. I was able to connect the teachings to everyday life, and this was key to my journey. There's so much of material available now, both in print and online, and I admit I became that nightstand Buddhist because I had such a feeling of inadequacy in my understanding of Buddhism, and Shin Buddhism in particular. I felt I had to catch up after being so behind everyone else at Temple who had been studying all their lives. But never in my mind did I think about becoming an MA. When Reverend Rundra asked me almost 2 years ago if I would be interested in becoming an MA, I must have demurred about I'm too old, I don't know, I don't know enough. I was so caught off guard. I must have mumbled something, and all she simply asked me if I enjoyed studying the Dharma. I wonder if it was a trick question. a very wise trick question. And here I am. Here I am. This bamboo has only scratched the surface of learning. What I do know, and I accept now, is that there's no such thing as catching up. As you know, there's no Buddhist instruction book. I didn't join the church too late in life. It's never too late. It's a personal journey. It's a journey of continuous study and practice, and mostly introspection that's made such a rewarding experience. This Sangha is so welcoming, generous, and hardworking. I'm amazed how everyone finds a way to contribute their talents and effort. I'm so happy to have found a way as an MA that I can also contribute back in gratitude to you all. Finally, a big part of accepting this MA role was to help Reverend Wanjira and Reverend Turner in any way I can, although it seems that training becomes yet another task in their huge list of responsibilities. As much as they appreciate everything that we do to help, I feel so much gratitude to them for the personal growth I've received the past 2 years. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you, OCBC.
Thank you, Janet. Okay. So, next one, Teresa, please. Welcome, Teresa.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My name is Teresa Shimogawa, and it's very interesting to hear the two different experiences because I have my own unique experience as well, but I think it really speaks to the diversity here, that we each have these different paths. Mine was a very accidental path to becoming a Buddhist and standing here where I am right now. I actually got hired at Cypress High School about 16 years ago, and I happened to fall in love with the teacher in the classroom next door. We literally shared a wall between our classrooms. And he happened to have grown up a couple minutes down Ball Road from here and grew up attending OCBC. So that's how I got introduced to Buddhism. I had been a disenchanted Catholic who was intent on not needing anything in my life. I just didn't want any religion. But I was okay with his desire to raise our children as Buddhists. I didn't have anything against it, but it would be his job to take them to Dharma school on Sundays. So I would often stay home with the baby on Sundays, and occasionally I would attend with him, but I really was not going to be a dedicated anything. So I didn't chant, I didn't put my hands together in Gasho. I tried to be respectful of it, but it wasn't going to be my thing, it was going to be his gig. But then, when he unexpectedly passed away, I found myself with the job of driving the kids to Dharma school on Sundays. And that's when I became an accidental listener. I was lured into adult study as a place really to go as I was waiting around for the kids, because I really didn't know where I was supposed to stand, what I was supposed to do. So I would wander into adult study to pass the time, but to be honest, the donuts and coffee also was a major selling point. So I would go with my youngest child, Peter, who was a baby at the time, strapped to my back, and I would try to listen to them reading the essay of the day while trying to get him not to throw his juice and donuts on the floor or next to the person next to me, and just kind of listening. And that's when I realized that Buddhism was actually exactly what a person like me needed at the time when I was emotionally hemorrhaging. It felt like Buddhism was actually written for people just like me who were dealing with terrible suffering. At the time, I felt scared, I was angry, I was alone, and that's when I knew for the very first time that I needed something. I didn't know it was going to be Buddhism, but I knew for the first time I needed something to help me. And then, of course, during our COVID quarantine, I leaned on Buddhism even further as I was, alone with the 3 kids and, locked up with a garage full of toilet paper and Zoom school and just a lot of unknowns. And at that point, I started to attend a lot of the Zoom seminars. And Reverend Turner, he was a very smart man. He recruited me while I had a lot of free time on my hands to become a minister's assistant, and that's how I got here. I'm currently in my second year of the correspondence class. I've given a few Dharma talks, I've contributed some writing to different sources, and my involvement just really feels like a great Buddhist experiment in and of itself. I'm just trying to be present and learn and stay curious. I don't really know where it's headed, but it's nice just to be a learner again. I'm hoping to one day master chanting without sounding like a dying cat, and I hope to keep contributing writing. That's my passion, so I hope to continue that. And just seeing where I could be of use in spreading the Dharma, especially to people like me who were not raised with Buddhism, but have a lot to gain from hearing the teachings. So I'm hoping to be a part of that. And I just really thank you all for having me here, and I hope that I can serve the Sangha in any way that I can. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Teresa. So how do you think? 3 of them. Wonderful talk. We are so fortunate to have so many ministers' assistants. First is Anne, and of course she's very active at OCBC and active in Girl Scout, and then also Risk Management Committee. And the LABCC, she goes every year, right? And then Janet she is a Ikebana, Ikenobo flower arrangement teacher. She has a license. So she always helped me to make onajin flowers with other ladies such as Janet, another Janet we have, and then also Karen, and then Jody. See, they are very active. They always help us a lot. And Teresa, she's also a high school teacher, and she's a very good writer. And just recently, she contributed a wonderful article to Tricycle Buddhist magazine. If you have a chance, please take a look. I'm sure you can Google it and find it. So everybody is different, but everybody has a wonderful talent, the way to share a wonderful Dharma with Sangha. I should also mention that we have a Janice Hirohama and Jim Pollard, and also Mark Van Dyke. Those are also a minister's assistant. They are also very helpful. I'm really appreciate it. Myself also, I was a minister's assistant over 20 years ago at this OCBC. I remember that. The resident minister at that time, is Reverend Harada, approached me, and then he said, well, would you like to be a minister's assistant? And we call it MA. I said, what's that? I don't understand. What is that program? He said, well, just come and help us. All right. So at that time, I have a full-time job, Monday to Friday. And I told him, I can come Saturday or Sunday. And then I can help you if you want me to make copies, or if I make tea or something, I can do that. That's what I thought. So the program I joined is sort of a pilot program. It was not settled yet. It's just BCA started doing that, Buddhist Churches America. So I was one of them. And then, of course, he trained me how to chant Jusege, Sambutsuge, and then Shoshinge, Wasan, everything. He trained me, and Reverend Tuna as well. That's how we do it. Now, we are very fortunate, so many ministers assistant, and then we resident minister, train them how to chant, how to do a Naijin etiquette, how to do a Dharma message. And then someone said also, they are taking that Jodo Shinshu, Shin Buddhist correspondence course, about 2 years. They are doing online. So also, it's kind of like a teaching and practice, right? This is kind of balanced, always. So teaching at home, anywhere you like, and then at the home or OCBC, you can practice it. I always think is a teaching, Dharma, and practice has to be well balanced. You know, my ministerial path, I studied, but study is not everything. You have to really make it adapt and then resonate the teaching to all the Sangha members. Otherwise, Dharma is here, and so what? What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything to you. So I have to take it down to you and explain it easy way and better communication, try to connect all of you. That's the minister's job. And that's also minister's assistant job as well. So if you have any questions, I'm sure they will be hanging around in the Sunday service, and then ask them if you have a question. And you are welcome to come and join 8:30 Shin Buddhist meditation time too. It's very good. I know you have to get up a little bit early, but it's worth. Please come and join 10 o'clock meeting, okay? The service. So I think, as you know, Jodo Shinshu we call it, but another word is Shin Buddhism, right? Shin Buddhism. That's what we call it in the West. Actually, this teaching is under Mahayana. Mahayana is big bus, big vehicle versus to small vehicle. I always say Mahayana is a yellow bus, school bus. Everybody can get on. Nobody's behind. You see, each station, they pick up all the students, they carry to the school. School bus, we all get into school bus together and go into a Buddha's teaching together. So, as we always listen together from children, adult, all the way down, up there. And then also, there is no low and high. That means you're a good meditator. Doesn't matter. You're a bad meditator. Doesn't matter. You're learning very well. No. Everybody is welcome. Even there is no knowledge, nothing about Buddhism, please come to OCBC and join us. Inclusive, equality, and spiritual happiness. And then we share the joy of living together, okay? And by sharing the Dharma. So we all are embraced by Amida Buddha's great compassion and immeasurable wisdom in everyday life by sharing the same path, hearing and saying Buddha's name, Namo Amida Butsu. Okay? Today, we had a wonderful session, isn't it? You liked it? All right. I want to think about the next version, Sangha connection, for something of course, Dharma, but I'd like to invite one of the temple organizations as well. Talking about the organization, today we have a wonderful orientation fair. You see all the tents outside? Okay? So visit there. Ukulele people playing already, Dharma School, Junior YBA, BWA, ABBA. Did I say anything like that? I'm sorry, I missed something, but everybody's there. Stop by each, tent and find out, and BEC as well, bookstore. Find out all our activities, okay? We always connect every one of you. Everybody is welcome and join with us. Thank you. So join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.